Hello everyone, this is Andrea and you are watching our Southern Nest Adventure. This is the Sunday edition, even though it's Wednesday. But that's what you get to do when you have your own channel. You get to make your own rules. So today we're going to be talking about trust in the community and friendship. And just a little heads up, I am truly thinking about leaving this community, and after you have listened to this video, this is going to be a two-part video because it's going to be too long otherwise. And I also have another video where I'm going to want to talk to you guys and kind of warn you about a scammer that's in the community, and but that's going to be on a separate video. On the phone, I have a call today, and it's Teresa. Hi, Teresa.
Hello, Andrea. Hello, everyone.
So you've been hard at work.
Of course.
Yeah,
I
making
work
that
very
money.
hard.
Yeah, making that money, right?
Yes, making all that money.
That you're just gonna give over to the landlord.
Yeah, you know it.
Right?
Yeah, in fact, I just barely paid my rent. I'm broke.
Yeah, see, isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I'm going to do is today, what I want to talk about is there are a couple of people that I'm completely taking out of my life, have taken out of my life since yesterday, out of my personal life, out of my channel, and the people are basically Sam from Sam's channel, Emily from M's Gems, and Shelby, and what is the friend's name? Bumblebaby and me, Lee. And a personal friend of mine that is Anasha. And I want to let everyone know that to me, I don't require much from a friendship, here or anywhere. The only thing I require is trust, loyalty, and that's it. So in other words, don't lie to me and be loyal to me. That's all I require. You don't need to send me gifts. You do not need to take me out to dinner. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to agree with me on everything. You do not even need to watch my channel all the time. Just be honest with me. And these people have completely betrayed me in the most horrific way possible. So at this point, I have my husband that is very concerned about me because I have been really upset. And I want to play you a message that he sent to Tiny Magical Creatures because she is a friend of Emily, and she was a friend of mine, and Sam. And just so that you guys get the hint and the gist of where we are heading here. So let me just play this to you.
Hello, Don. This is David. This is Andrea's husband. I'm just beside myself with the way this doll reborn community has transgressed in the last year and a half. Something that Andrea got into wholeheartedly with.
Whoops. Sorry, guys.
Well, I hope.
Was so excited. Made her first big purchase from Inez, and that went south real quick. Like, you should get what you paid for, especially when you're talking $1,000 at a pop. And then how this has transgressed. I have spoken myself to a lot of the women in this reborn community, and the ones that start out friendly, and it was fun and exchanging ideas and selling some clothes or dolls back and forth to each other. And now this has come in to be really a cat fight. What has happened to this community? There's no fun to it anymore. Andrea is beside herself all the time. She doesn't mean to, she's going to stick up for herself. Believe me, you never met anybody like Andrea. I am encouraging her to sell everything, get out of this community 100%. She's got so many other things going for her. She can start another channel someplace else. She doesn't want to do it by any means. She started this project, this hobby, for fun, and there is so much backstabbing going on. It's like a cat fight between 10, 12, 15 women. Nobody's having any fun anymore. It's like everybody, their fun is bullying other people. And if that's the only thing they have in their life, something's wrong here. They don't have husbands, they don't have families, they don't have jobs. All they do is sit at home. And I realize that some people have some disabilities that they can't get out. So yes, they have to find something else to do. But it shouldn't be vicious. It shouldn't be hatred. I mean, and I'm a man, I never carried a doll around in my life. I got one little sister. There's me, 3 brothers, and a little sister. I never paid any attention to my sister's dolls. She'd come out and play basketball with me. That's the kind of, but, I've been backing up Andrea, supporting her. It's cost us a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. And now the hatred that has come out, to the point where I won't get myself involved in any of her videos. It's all putrid is the way I look at it. I just can't believe how in a year and a half, this community is turned upside down. And I have a few names in my head. I'm not going to mention them, but I know who the instigators are, and I know who the minions are. And it's just, life is too short. There's too many good people out there to be friends with and to associate with. The ones that are full of hate and vengeance and bully, like I said, life is too short. Leave those people behind. Go on. Find something else to do. Andrea is a really great person, mother. She's loyal. She'll stick by you thick and thin. I can guarantee you. I've been with her for 33 years, and I've had my problems. She's never left my side. I'm still going to encourage her to leave this community, even though she's going to fight me tooth and nail. We'll see what she decides. But I just want to let you and anybody else out there that you might share this with, I am not happy with this situation. I don't like to see Andrea run from anything. But in this situation, it's not going to get healed. This isn't going to settle down. It's just going to continue to grow and fester. Again, what happened to the fun part of the reborn community? To me, it absolutely does not exist anymore. That's my opinion. I don't care who you share that with or who you share this phone call with. I'm calling all of these bullies out. And if they don't like it, go pick on somebody else. You start picking on me, I'm a little bit tougher than Andrea. And got a little bit more money on my side than Andrea does. And that's not a threat. That's just a warning. All right, I'm finished with my spiel. Bye.
So so what I want to start off with is basically just to set the record straight. I will not have anybody dictate to me who I can and cannot watch on YouTube. Not in this community and not in any community. I'm a grown woman. I make my own choices. Um, I have, since I've been here, um, supported people that have been wronged for, like I said, for the last year and a half. My channel was starting to become an advocacy channel for other people versus a YouTube channel for me and my dolls. And that's not appropriate, and that's not right, and I don't want to do this anymore. That's the bottom line. What started this whole chaos that we are in right now, between me and Sam and Emily, and to a very small degree Dawn, but not very much, and Anasha also, is the life that I was in with Jody. And the reason why that became a really big problem is because I had a conversation yesterday afternoon with Emily saying, asking me not to go on Jody's channel, because I said to her, I said, look, I know that there's some beef going on between Jody and Marla, but I don't really know what's going on. I've only seen this one video and I responded to it, but other than that, I don't know what's going on and I want to stay out of it. This is not my fight to fight. And she said, well, you know what, if you go there, that will be a stab in the back for me and for Marla. And I said, what? That's ridiculous. And I have nothing to do with this. And I'm not gonna, be told who I can and cannot watch on YouTube just because somebody has a fight with somebody. That's, what are we, in high school? And
Exactly.
I said, right. And I said, you know what, if you want, what I'm willing to do is you can give Marla my phone number. She can call me tonight and discuss this. And I want to hear from her own mouth what her problem is here and why she would have a problem with me going on Jody's live or vlog and leave a comment or a thumbs up or whatever. I want to know from her. And she said, well, I don't know if she's available tonight or tomorrow or next week. She's sick, da 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 da. So in the meantime, I'm like, okay, whatever. So in the meantime, the only reason I'm explaining this part of this whole story is because Tiny Magical Creature seems to think that I was in Jody's live the other day along with Sam, that it was kind of like an orchestrated deal, which is complete nonsense. Because if you take a look at, we never spoke. Me and Sam never spoke to each other. We never commented to each other, and neither did I comment to Jen. My conversation was with Jody. And the reason I went in there is because Jody addressed me by name and talked about me with my name. And of course, I'm going to go in there and, defend myself, explain myself, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not going to let that sit. It's not. I'm not going to do this for anybody. If anybody here feels that this is a dictatorship and we should all run, and salute the same person, I'm sorry, that I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to do that for anybody, for anything, period. And so that's where, so when this live ended, I went to bed, and around 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from, like a voice call from Emily, being really upset that I was in there, that I betrayed her, and I betrayed Marla because I was in there. And I basically just didn't even listen to the whole message, to be quite honest. I went back to sleep. And when I woke up, there were like a ton of voice messages from her, from Tiny Magical Creatures, from Sam, everybody, just, and I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm making a video. I'm done with the whole thing. I'm divorcing myself from all of this nonsense, and I'm making a video. I'm not talking to you guys anymore. I'm done. I will not be treated like that because of what had happened the day before. Do you have anything to add here, Teresa?
Yeah. I mean, I find it pretty upsetting myself. I haven't been, you know, making videos or anything like that, but I certainly, am on YouTube and, your channel and a few others that I watch and I enjoy. So I was pretty upset about the video with Jody last night, when you said that there were people that were upset at you. Because honestly, there's nothing wrong with you getting on there. And first of all, people are saying you do drama videos. That's all you're about. And the other, no, you're not. You're doing rebuttals. You're defending yourself as anybody else would. And anybody on here, Sam, Emily, Jen, myself, you, anybody will get on and do a video to defend what has been said. And there's nothing wrong with that. The video of the live of Jody's, your name was mentioned on there, so you got on there, okay, and you weren't, on there to cause a fight. You were on there to say, what's going on? Why is my name being brought up? The same with the live with Jen. I don't understand why still either. Jen was talking about politics. You love politics. You love a great debate. So you're on there and you're wanting to talk politics and, find out, her side of things and let her know your side of things. Okay, why was that a big deal? Why was it such a big deal that, why were you nice at the beginning? When Jody was saying, well, why were you nice at the beginning or not nice at the beginning and then you were nice at the end of Jen's life? Well, there were so many things Jen was talking about. So your views are going to change. If she was just talking about one subject, and then you're nice at the beginning, maybe it's because she made you realize something, or maybe it's because there was a lot of things that were talked about, which was in fact the case with Jen's video. So, live. So again, I'm just kind of beside myself right now as to why, this is going on and why it's such a big deal, because we're all adults and, you don't dictate to me who I can watch and who I can comment on. I've never had you call me and say, well, why did you comment on, let's just say Emily's life? Not that it's anything against Emily, but just using it as an example. Did anybody say that to me? Because, we're all here to, get along and learn and enjoy and things like that. I don't tell you who you can watch. If you commented on Jen's video, Andrea, I wouldn't be like, why'd you comment on her video? We can't be friends anymore. I just think that's sad. I just think it's so narrow-minded and so utterly sad, because that's not what friendship's based on. It's not.
And especially the reason why they had a problem with me being on Jen's live is because apparently it had to do with what she did to Sam. But Sam is in this live too. And so why am I being called on the carpet? And they were calling me on the carpet that night before. Again, Emily sends me a text saying, or voice message saying, I cannot believe you guys went on her live. This is ridiculous. She's the most vile person here, and yada yada yada. I don't want to be. I'm just paraphrasing here, but it was a really horrible, like a 20-minute rant. And I just, again, turned off and went back to sleep. And that, when I woke up, there were like 3 or 4 messages from her. And then I rebutted to her, saying, look, why are you just jumping on me? Sam was in there too. And, it's not, Sam, like I said a million times on here, Jen never did anything to me personally. Period. She never did. She did something to Sam. And she did something to you. And I, as a friend, protected you and protected Sam. Okay, right. Until it was okay with everybody. So, so when you see Sam being in this video before I even got in there, okay, because I don't know who texted me saying, Sam is in this video. And I'm like, what? She's in a video? And I'm like, and then Jen said, everybody's unblocked and everybody can have an opinion. And I'm like, well, I'm going to check see if that's true. And I just kind of like, just to see if it was even happening. And I put a comment out there and it was accepted. And I'm like, well, I guess she is right that everybody's welcome to join this debate. So but I was reamed over the coals for being in there, okay? And at one point, um, I couldn't get a hold of Emily. She wouldn't answer her phone. She was really mad. So I called Sam and I said, "Did you get all these voice messages from Emily too?" And she said, "Yeah," but she said, "We are good." And I'm like, "What do you mean you're good?" She said, "She called me. She called me and we are good." And I said, "That's really weird because she hasn't called me." And she says, "Well, I told her what I was up to, that I was going to just stir the pot and um just show everybody how how dumb Jen is, and that she can't really hold a debate. And I was basically just sticking it. That was my plan." And I'm like, "Well, it didn't sound like that to me." And then I'm like, that's really, I'm like, "This is really weird." And I'm like, what is going on here? And so we started arguing, and I said to her, "You are getting on my last nerve." And because because I said to her, "Look," I'm like, "You and Jen are good, so you go into her life. So why can't I be in that? Why can't I be in there?" And she says, "Me and Jen are not good." "What are you talking about? Me and Jen are good?" I'm like, you said you and Jen are good." She says, "I never said that. Me and Jen are not good." I'm like, "You sent an email to this woman," and I will read this email in a second. "You sent an email to this woman saying you wanted peace. Period. That's what you said. So that means you're good." And she says, and then she said, "I never said that, and don't say that." And I said, "You're getting on my last nerves." And at that point she said, "You know what? I've been talking to, and I didn't want to tell you that, but now you made me mad. I was talking to Shelby. I've been talking to Shelby." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "What about?" And she said, about that Kaylee cat that on Instagram that um, you know, there was kind of like some joke that this woman, I don't know what she was trying to accomplish here, but she put like a post on her Instagram wall saying that she had this guy, this investigator, checked my phone. Oh no, check my Instagram account. And long story short, and my Instagram account was not hacked. And right, and I'm like,
Ridiculous.
I'm like, how does he even? He doesn't has no authorization to do that. And where do you get this guy from? And then I googled him, and the first one that came up was in London. And I'm like, why would a guy from London do anything here? Why is he interested in that? And I asked her that, this woman, and she's like, well, there's other people than by that name too, not just in London. And I told Sam about that, and I said, who do we know that's in London, or who's in England? Only Shelby. And she said, "Shelby would never do that. Shelby would never be involved in that." I'm like, "Okay, fine, then I have to keep on looking." And I find out that this guy, there is another guy that is here in Long New England, I think, yeah, New England somewhere at some college, and he has like some sort of like a there's like an excerpt of his um, like a speech that he gave to a college there, and that excerpt is exactly what this woman wrote on my wall, word for word. Like she copied and pasted what he had said onto my wall. So it was like a complete snow job. So anyway, so back to Sam. So Sam says, well, because I wanted to check with Sam. I'm like, "Why would you check with Sam? Why? I already told you, because you accused her." I'm like, "I never accused her. I just said, who do we know?" It was just a simple question. And then she says, "Yeah." And then this whole thing that you talked um, about uh, that you talked to, this conversation you had with Shelby a couple of weeks ago, or 10 days ago, and that she was really upset, and that you guys made up, and then that she cried. That was all a lie. And I'm like, "What? What? I mean, what's your trip right now?" And she said, "Yeah, that's a lie." And I'm like, "You know what? She cried. She can say she didn't cry. That's between, that now you have to decide who's lying here. I don't really care. What's the big deal here about that?" So I'm like, "You know what? But just the fact that you went behind my back and went to Shelby, you know, and you weren't even going to tell me, it's a big problem for me. So I hung up and I was done with her basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing else happened, and then I was going to make a video like the Sunday edition video, and just as I was about to make the video, I get a call from Tiny Magical Creatures that she had set up some account, like a WhatsApp account for the four of us to talk and mediate this whole situation between all four of us. And at that, I'm not going to talk about everything that was talked about in there, but a couple of things that were important is, one, apparently Emily also contacted Shelby and talked to her because wanted to know what's going on, and didn't believe me, didn't believe that she was crying, or didn't believe what Shelby said or whatever. And I'm like, why would you not come to me as a friend to ask what was the problem here?
That's what I don't understand, because they went, instead of going to you. So if you know, you're our friend, you've been on defending us for, you know, us being wronged, and then, you know, and I don't have anything to do with, you know, Shelby. I've never, you know, had any words with her or whatever.
Right.
Just what I've seen. You know, she stuck up for me in regards to what happened with, you know, between Jen and I, which, you know, long ago. So I always felt like, you know, she was a great gal, and then the next thing I know, she's, you know, turning her back on everyone, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But that's the one thing I don't understand, is why, if you're their, you know, friend, you know, and have defended them, you know, myself included, and if there was an issue with them not, you know, curious about something on a phone call or whatever reason, you know, you turn to that person and say, you know, I'm just kind of, you know, having a question in my mind, or, you know, this doesn't add up, or what, for whatever reason, and, you know, and talk to you about it, you know. But why go to the enemy? Why go to the foe? And that's where I have a hard time, because they went to her to get the truth, when, honest to God, and to me, it doesn't effing matter if Shelby was crying or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you said. If you said that she was crying and upset, I'm going to take your word for, you know, face value, because you're my friend. And I'm not going to go to her and ask her if that's true or not, because it doesn't matter what her opinion is, as far as I'm concerned, because, you know, I'm not her friend. So that's where I'm having a hard time, is why did they go to her and then ask her if it happened? Of course she's going to say it didn't happen, you know, for whatever reason. And honest to God, Andrea, why does it effing matter?
Yeah.
If her voice was crackly, and you thought she was crying, and, you know, so what? Okay, let's say that she wasn't crying and you thought she was. You weren't there face to face. So we can't prove that she was, and she can't prove that that she wasn't. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. That's not what this is about. It's like, why go to her anyway? I'm just really having a hard time with that.
Right, and that's
a real hard time.
Right, and that's why the second part of this video is going to come in, where I am going to talk about Shelby and talk about the conversation I had with her, with screenshots and with evidence, Sam is always talking about, we need receipts for everything. I think that's a completely ridiculous notion here, that you need proof of a conversation that took place. You need proof of an email that was sent. You need proof of a text that was written. You need proof of everything. I mean, what is this community that
That's not a true friendship.
That's not a proof. This is horrid. Completely.
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of where I need to do screenshots of everything that I send to everybody. You know, to me,
I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't. And if you, let's just say you went and was just, you know, slamming, you know, Sam, you know, and doing all this stuff, you know, and she found out, then, you know, then I can see her being upset, because you've been nothing but a friend to her, and that's why this is all, you know, super upsetting. And why do you need receipts? Receipts for what? You don't ask for friends for receipts.
A friend that has protected her, has been on her side against everybody and everything, okay?
Mhm.
And I mean, spend so much time defending this woman. And speaking of receipts, yeah, where's the receipt? How do we have, what kind of evidence do we have, Sam, that this letter or this blackmail letter apparently that Jen wrote, or apparently wrote, we don't know, that was really sent from Jen. You have no idea. You just told the whole crew that was sent from Jen, that was sent from Jen, this is exactly her words, this is what yeah, because she threatened, because if I don't do X, Y, and Z by tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, she's gonna put a life together, and she's gonna put stuff out there that is not gonna make me look good. And you know, for all we know, anybody could have written that letter. Any of her
Sure.
friends, she has no idea. So we took her word.
Mhm.
Okay, took her word
Because she's a friend, of
because
course.
she is a friend, and believe that. We have still to this day no real proof. Okay, that's
Right.
that's really what happened. But that's really where, like, she wants to have evidence and she wants to have receipts. Let's go take a look at the receipts that we have, on as far as she's concerned. Okay, I'm gonna play a couple of sound bites. These are conversations that went on in this group, in this WhatsApp group that I'm also still to this day included in. So I didn't just steal these voice clips. I'm included in this. I just didn't want to answer. I will not talk to these people again. I want them to get off my channel. I want them to stop talking about me. I will not defend them anymore. I will not be told who to watch, who to see, who to talk to, who to align myself with, nothing. Because the way I look at it is the way they behaved, it's worse than, which if not even possible, it's worse than what Inez did. Because with Inez, at least, she made it very clear, her and me weren't getting along and we were complete enemies. And
Yes, at least with Inez, you knew where you stood. At least
Right.
she's, held her ground. I don't like you. You don't like me. You stay on your side of the fence. I'll stay on my side of the fence. At least,
I knew
that's
where I
been-
stood. Right.
Yeah, she's been very transparent about that.
Right.
Yes.
It's like she just shot me in the head, in the heart. Right.
Right.
These two, what they did was, I turned, and same with Anasha actually, and I turn around and walk out the room, and they shoot me in the back.
Jeez Louise.
So if you had a choice between the two, which friend would you rather have? Or
Right.
forget about friend, a person that you know, or which way would you rather be shot? In the
Right.
back without being able to defend yourself or protect yourself, or straight in the heart where, in front where you can maybe, like fight back or hide or duck or do whatever. And that's really what happened. And I think that's why this is horrid and disgusting behavior. And there are so many women in this community that are just like that. Like David says, there are about 15 of them, and that's all they do all day long, every day. And I just can't do it anymore. So
It's very sad.
Yeah, it is very sad. So this is a conversation that was going on today between the three of them. But I'm only this is only voice clip from Sam, and the only reason I'm playing this is because per Sam we all need to bring receipts. So here's your receipt, Sam. So this is how you talk about me behind my back. You didn't pick up the phone. You didn't try to do anything, which is fine.
Well, that's what she does, ladies, and that's what she does. That's why for the past 2 months I've hardly been talking to her, because I've been sitting back observing. Because
No, let's get that straight. No, the last 2 months why we weren't talking is because you lied to me about that email you sent to Jen, and I will read that email in a second also, about that email. And while I was defending you and going after Jen for weeks, you had already sent her an email asking for a peace treaty. Okay? And I never could understand why Jen would always say to me, why are you still talking to me? Why are you still on my case? Me and Sam are good. I'm like, what? what's she talking about? You and Sam are good. I don't know anything about that. So I kind of like blew her off. And at no point did you, Sam, say, we are good. Not at, it wasn't until about, what was it, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, that I had Emily on the line, and you called in. We had a 3-way phone call, and I asked Emily if she knew about this email. And Emily, who is always, I don't know what Emily's trip is, why she always feels like she needs to protect you, talk for you, like be, like your knight in shining armor. I have no idea what the trip is there, because only a year ago, or a year and a half ago, no, a year ago, you seem to forget that this is the woman that called you clogger. Let's not forget about that. And you have a very short memory, Emily. You really do. And I forgot what I was going to say now. Where was I here? Let me think. What is this about?
You're talking about
the reason why we didn't talk is because I was mad as soon as I found out about that email. My demeanor changed. I took a step back from her because my antenna went up completely. I did not call her anymore as much, only when it was completely necessary. There were no more gifts sent to her daughter or to her or for anything of Christmases or anything. There was nothing. So there was nothing. There was, and I sent so much stuff to that family. It's like ridiculous. And, that's how you're treated in this community. It's like crazy. But yeah, she didn't take a step back. I took a step back. And that's what this whole thing is all about. She knew that there was trouble brewing, that I was removing myself from her. And so was Anasha at the time, up until today. And she knew that she needed, and then there was also an issue with Tiny Magical Creatures having an issue with her, and Jen, and her, and Lexi, and being in touch with both of them. So it's not that, no. You can't turn this around that you walked away. You didn't walk away from anything. Give me a break.
I have. I told y'all. I said, she's a liability to all our causes.
What cause?
A liability. Because of this shit right here. Because it was all just about a friendship of convenience and her battle against the nest.
A battle against the nest. What do you say to that, Teresa?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on that one myself, because you've never asked me to do anything on, your behalf towards Inez.
And
that
she
one
has
to me
never,
is
right, and
odd.
she's never done it, and she's never done anything either. What is on her channel right now? Nothing. So
Yeah,
even if she would have said anything in my behalf, like I have done for her with Jen, everything that she says, every live she makes, within a certain amount of time is gone, deleted, no evidence, no trace, no nothing, gone. So
yeah, it's definitely unsettling. And yes, we can all move on from things, this, that, and the other, but I don't understand why we all were fighting for what we believed in and fighting for people, and then next thing you know, unbeknownst to us, that they're in the works of forgive and truth and whatever, and that's fine, but it would have been nice if we would have been alerted. But the next thing you know, the videos are gone, and they've and now we're left holding the bag. But that's okay. I stand behind everything that I've said, and I've moved on from the bitterness with Jen and everything else that's going on, and but I still have my stuff up because it's it's what's happened. That's just, the things that happened in my life, and that's truth. And I don't need to take those down, have people fight my battles, and then have them just still standing there holding the bag. And I don't get that part of it. I really, really don't. And it's pretty sad.
Right.
It really is.
And then this is the woman that for a year and almost a year and a half, okay, was a friend, okay. I didn't come crawling to her. When she came over to this side of the fence to me, because I didn't have a group of anything. Okay. Like that was when she made a calculated bet, being friends with Lexi, hoping that was going to be okay with Inez, but it wasn't. So she was still kind of hoping that Inez would get over it, and Inez didn't. So now she realized she had no home. She had no place to go in the community. Where was she going to go? And and she was so mad at Inez that Inez wasn't going to take her back, that she went to my side just to stick it to Inez. Okay, that's what she did. Okay, because at the end of the day, let me tell you, I never got a thing from this woman. I never got a full video, that is still up. What is up? What is up where she defended me? Nothing. There's not one video up. She doesn't have a wall. There's nothing, there's no evidence that this woman has ever stood up for me.
Right.
And after tomorrow, I will go through my videos, and everything that doesn't have to do directly with me will be deleted. Completely. I will not stand up for people in this community anymore. It is not appreciated. It is not it's just, it's just kind of like, like if people play you here, they use you, and then when you're done being used, they move on. And and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to play that game. It's ridiculous.
It is. It's sad.
So let's see what else she has to say. What other lies coming out of her mouth right now?
And because we're not willing to be on that bandwagon anymore, so to speak, because we've all tried to discourage her from continuing to go after Pixie and Inez, and we're not wanting to do that. We're not feeding.
Yeah, another thing. Yeah, we discouraged her to go after, to stop going after Inez. Yeah, you know what? That's very interesting. You know what? It's not up to you to decide when I'm done fighting. That's my fight. That was my money, and it's not for you to decide when I get over it. This is like Inez's talk, and Pixie. Like, get over it already. Get over it already. How about if I said to you with your daughter, get over it already? Like, what did you say on Sunday? In that 4-way call? Unless this happens to all of you with your daughter, you have no room to talk, and you let me handle this. You know what? Well, you know what? We would have completely, gladly, been out of it if you didn't ask us to help you and dragged us into this with Jen. And to be very honest, I do not regret my stand on what Jen did. I think that was horrid. And if this would have been my daughter, there is no way in hell that I would ever forgive somebody like that. Ever. I would have gotten out of the community. I would not want to see this woman. I would not want to hear this woman's voice. I would not want to be associated with the Reborn community. I would not want I would go far away, which means I would have closed my channel. That's it. That's my children, everything, and that's why that is like the reason why Inez got her money back, because my daughter called and was really upset when she read this disgusting stuff that was said about me, by Inez and co. And my daughter called you and cried and said, why are they saying these horrible things about you? They don't even know you. And I said, it's all about this doll. And she said, Mom, they don't know you. They don't know you. That you're my mom. And that breaks my heart. It makes me so sad. Why don't you just give her back that money? Who cares? Just give her back the money. And I did. And I did it for her. I didn't do it for Inez. I didn't do it for me because I would have fought on, but I did it for my daughter. And because she's worth $950 and then some. Okay, I would give my whole house for her. Period. Because that's what parents do.
Right.
Into that anymore. You know? But this is what she does, and this is why I've been saying things. The hearsay. Just like that. I don't like Inez. Never gonna like Inez. But think about it. She's gone on several times about this email, this presumed email that, alleged email that Renee sent out to all these people. She never saw that email because that's one of the things I questioned to her when I had it out on the phone with her before our talks yesterday, and she got the day before. I questioned her on that. I said, have you even seen this email? No. I said, so you're taking the word of somebody else that you don't really know? Well, I know her on Instagram. But do you know her? Have you talked to her? Do you know her like that? No. So you're just going off of what she's saying, hearsay? That's what she does. This ain't nothing new. And look what she's done with that. Hearsay evidence. The Dollatorium, there's another one. Hearsay. That's hearsay. Dollatorium hasn't shown her any receipts to back up these claims, but did that prevent her from running to her wall? No, it didn't. Hearsay.
Okay, speaking of hearsay, like I said, that's exactly what you did. That's exactly what you did with that letter. Hearsay. Everything is hearsay. And you know what? I don't need to show you receipts. I don't need to show you anything. I don't need to show you a goddamn thing. Honestly. I really don't. There is actually an artist that was also contacted that also saw that. And I've been digging into this, and you know what? So you have no idea what I have, because you know what? I haven't trusted you for a while, and I'm not going to put all my cards on the table, because as you can see here, you were never a friend. You just are a taker. You just move from person to person to person to person. So from Inez to Lexi, then in between there was Jen, then there was who else was there? There was Emily, that you first called Clogger and then you made up, and then you were friends with Jody and then you weren't, and then so you just move around the community. Like wherever you can hang your hat, like you make trouble in one area, and then when you realize that the party is about to end, you're gonna look around and see, well, where else can I hang my hat next? That's what you do. That's really sad. I mean, that's on you, not on me. And that next clip that I'm gonna show is exactly what kind of friend you are not.
I'll say this. Jen's been wanting to know really bad who turned her in for to the welfare agency. Did you hear me, Andrea? She's been wanting to know really bad.
Let me tell you something. If this is a threat, go right on it. Go. You know what? You have a receipt for that, and you and I both know there's at least 2 or 3 people that reported her, and you have no. I've never told you anything. I never told you anything. You have no idea. I've no clue what you're talking about. And so, you know what? Show receipt, and and even if I did, so what? But if I did, I wouldn't have never done anything secretly anyway, because that's not how I roll. So if she would have gotten any kind of notice, they would have notified me too, because I would never do anything in secret, because I stand by what I do. So, you know what, since I never got notified by anybody, and I didn't, even if I did or didn't, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. But it's hearsay. So show a receipt, please, for that. Okay, then let's see here.
All she's going to do is prove to Inez and Pixie, because Inez and Pixie will be sitting back with their popcorn. All she's going to do is come out and confirm their points of view as far as she goes. That's all she'll do. Because we all know how the news cycle works in this community. Here today, gone tomorrow. But she'll be making Inez and Pixie's day. Because she's public enemy number one for them.
Look, not that I really care, Sam, because you know what? You are worse. Like I said, you are nobody's friend here. And after this, I hope that people will really get a true sense of who you really are and that they can't trust you. Because, just the fact that you went behind my back to Shelby, then you're still going behind my back, and you had this whole thing orchestrated from, probably for the last 2 or 3 months, for all I know. Takers. All takers. Do you have anything to add here, Teresa?
Yeah, I just find this all, very unsettling, and the bottom line is I'm still trying to figure out why, like what happened. I've never seen you do anything, mean or spiteful. I've seen you stick up for yourself, as anybody would. But, you've always been, a true friend to me. And as far as, Emily's never done anything to me personally. She's never done anything to me. So I'm kind of confused as to why she's also having this issue, because, you've never screwed Emily over. You've never called her names. Sam has. And so that's why I'm kind of confused on that one as well. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Emily. And again, I don't understand, what all this is toward you. But yet she's willing to forgive Jen for what Jen did to her daughter, which is something that I would never in a million years. I wouldn't go to her channel. I wouldn't, support. I wouldn't even leave a negative comment on her channel if she had done something like that, toward my daughter. I wouldn't have anything to do with her. I would have just say la vie and moved on. So that one's kind of, confusing too. So, and again, I don't know. It just seems like it's, stirring the pot, causing drama, and there's just, no reason for it. And again, it's, she wants you to show proof of this, that, and the other. And yeah, so where is the proof about the email from Jen? As much as, I was hurt about what Jen did, as far as me getting the doll, and I don't even want to get into that, yada, yada, yada. I do know that the difference between, Jen and, Sam is Jen's not vindictive.
Yeah, I know.
Jen doesn't sit there at night and try to figure out ways to hurt people, or anything like that. Jen, and I do know that about her. She's not like that. She's just not a vindictive, mean, rotten person. Maybe a little bit of truth doesn't get told or whatever, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. But, she's just not a vindictive person. And I feel like there's a lot of vindictiveness going on right now. And it's uncalled for. And that's really sad because, like I said, I've never seen you, go after people for no damn reason at all and cause problems. And that's why it's really upsetting to me, because you've been a true friend. And I honest to God, Andrea, I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, I don't understand, like who gives a shit whether or not Shelby was crying or not? The bottom line is, you are the friend. You are the one that has stood by
Her.
Exactly. Shelby was the one that turned her back and said, you know what? I'm not doing this. basically, excuse my language, fuck you, and and whatever. That's Shelby's right. She can do that. She can, make amends, do whatever she needs to do in her life. That's okay. But the person that did that basically slapped Sam in the face, and now Sam turns around and takes her word over yours. And so I really have a hard time with that. Like, I don't get it. I, honest to God, am sitting here like I don't get it. I don't know that I ever will.
And what happened to Sam in Emily's life when Shelby was in there, where she said, "I will never forgive you for what you did. I will never speak to you again."
Yeah, she did.
In Emily's life, and then I asked, and then Emily tells me, "I will never talk to Shelby again ever because she lied to me 3 times." Okay, and one of them was about Pixie, about
Right.
that something about not liking her or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but it had to do with Pixie, and both of them are like, "We will never talk to you again ever." And you know what? And here they throw somebody that has been in their corner, fighting their fights for them for a year and a half. No problem, doesn't matter. So anyway, so let's talk about evidence, okay? Receipts. So here's this email from June 3rd from the Reborn Rose, which is her channel, where she writes to Jennifer. "I come in peace, I promise, LOL. I'm done. I'm tired of hurting and being stressed out. I imagine you are too. We have been going back and forth for months now. I'm completely removing myself from the community and YouTube. Neither of us are ever going to budge on our stance. It's exhausting. I've been trying to leave for months now, and then something comes up and it starts all over again. A never-ending cycle. I cannot forgive you for what you did. I'm sure it's the same for you. This is not an apology, nor am I looking for one from you. I honestly just want to move forward, and the only way is for me to move along out of this community. So what I'm asking is that we both agree to just stop. I've never reported you to the welfare or the IRS or anything like that. If you are able to get any reports on who did, you will not find my name, number, or email attached to it. One of the major factors in me coming to this decision was Emily. She has become a very good friend, and I don't want to see her upset on my behalf anymore. Last week, I woke up several times to find a live she made in response to the post you threw up geared at me for the uniborn dad situation. So I'm not going to go into that because that's like a thing between, it's like a newborn situation. Anyway, I will throw this on I will attach this to this video though. So this is like my proof. At the end she writes, that's it. All I have to say, hopefully by me removing myself, things will quiet down for you. Hopefully we can both find some peace again. I need to let the anger go, and this is my way of releasing it. Not by exchanging apologies, by just asking for truth and walking away. I will ask this though. Please just don't mention me again or post about me on your wall, as that will only fire my friends up. What is that supposed to mean? I cannot control what they
That'll
do.
get us all riled up to
Yeah.
defend her.
I cannot control what they do, but I have asked them to just ignore. That is also a lie, because how can we ignore something we don't know anything about? Okay?
Right.
I didn't know anything about this. So that's like, so in other words, the last line is throwing her friends under the bus. Friends that were fighting for her. So she's throwing us under the bus, and the woman that did this to her daughter, she's like, okay, well, did that sound like an apology letter to you? Or like a truth? Or let's have a truth. Let's have peace. What does it sound like to you? Sounded like
To me, it sounded like an apology letter. To me, it sounded like she was caving into Jen. And again, that's whatever, Sam wants to do, whatever she wants to do. That's, all fine and dandy or whatever. But don't turn around and say, things aren't good between me and Jen. I can't stand her, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, well, that's fine, but that letter didn't come off that way. And if somebody did that against my daughter, I certainly wouldn't be writing a letter and starting it out as LOL. When you start a letter out and it says LOL, that turns this whole thing into not very serious. And that's the way I take it.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. That's my take on it.
I come in peace, I promise. Why do you need to give peace? I don't get that either. Like if you want I understand that she wanted the videos down, but so what did she do? So Jen took her video down, and she and Sam took all of her videos down. Okay, and everything.
Unbeknownst to us, though.
Yeah, exactly.
We weren't informed.
Exactly. So the people that were fighting for her for over a year, we just don't matter anymore. As long as it's all good. When Sam decides it's enough, then it's enough for everybody. Okay, you can all go into your corners now and play with your dolls, because I don't need you right now. I'll let you know when I'm in need again, when I piss another person off. Then you can come back. But for right now, I'm good with Jen until something else comes up, and then I might need you again. That's how this community works. So, speaking of more receipts, maybe you want to talk about this. This is the text that she swung towards you after we had the 3-way call. Okay, maybe you want to talk about that.
Okay, I don't remember. Do you have the text up?
Yeah, I have the text up.
Yeah, that was when we had a 3-way call. I don't remember what we're talking about. Politics, I think. I can't even remember now.
We were talking about that Cali cat.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A little scatterbrained.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I've had a long day. Yeah, that's right. So we were talking about the Kylie cat, who went out of her way to prove that you weren't being hacked, and one day, and put this fictitious post up, and it's like, okay, whatever. It's just more drama that somebody's trying to start, it's kind of silly actually, but, so that's what we were talking about. And then when the call, it was a 3-way, and then when we were all done, we all hung up or whatever, and then I got a text, and it said,
you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay,
I can't even remember.
Okay, so it said from Sam, and I will link it. I will put it I will put it at the bottom. at the end of my video. She said to Teresa, "Watch out, just saying." And Teresa writes, "I have no idea what's going on. So much drama with everyone." Sam responds, "I know she's running her mouth about me." And
yeah, that's right.
Right, and then Teresa writes, "WTF, wow." And then Sam writes, "Haven't you noticed you've been getting a lot more calls lately? Wonder why?" And then you said, "She doesn't call me that much, but I'm okay, but I'm not in the drama. She'll call me when there's drama when there's a drama to watch. Last time was politics." And then she says, and this was on August 28th. She says, "I reached out to Shelby. I'm not at odds with her. We addressed shit privately as adults. I have a fuller picture than some are aware of. Too much conspiracy theories and extracurricular thinking going on. Not everything is as complicated as some would make it seem. Um, and that was the 28th. So that was on a Friday. So she has been talking. So she said, I reached out to Shelby and they are not at odds. So when when we had that four-way call between Tiny Magical Creatures, her, me, and Emily, she said that they were really not talking about anything. That because Tiny Magical Creature said, "Why are you even in touch with her? Why are you, this is really upsetting me." And she said, "Well, because we talk about England and we talk about because I like English stuff and we don't really talk about anything." And I'm thinking, what? I'm like, this woman that you didn't want to talk to like 2 weeks ago, that 3 weeks ago you would never talk to again ever because she betrayed you and you could never trust again. Now you just talk about the weather in England. Isn't that a little bit weird? And that's
Yeah.
to me that was completely bizarre. And
Right.
and obviously, and what got me about that also is that doing this conversation, with the four of us, at one point she said, you talk too much, you talk to too many people, and three of them, one of them is Teresa, that Catherine, and Anasha. And Anasha
Yeah, I
just,
like the way I get thrown in there.
yeah,
Like,
and,
what the?
yeah. And she said, and Anasha just is so possessive and she just wants you all to herself. And Teresa, she talks behind your back because she talks to me about you all the time. And I'm like, what? And that's when I talked to you and told you, what the hell, do you talk to her? I had no idea that you were talking to her. And you said, we just had a text like a few days ago, but I really don't talk to her. And then
Yeah,
you look.
Sam and I, we don't, I mean, the only time that Sam and I really talked, a lot was when all of that drama was going down with Jen. And, I participated and helped Sam, a lot with that, and throwing Jen under the bus, and I didn't care at the time. Now it's like, it really should have been handled between me and Jen.
Mhm.
Honestly, it really should have been, and my
what
bad
made
for
me,
that. But
in hindsight, what makes me really uncomfortable, and what made me really uncomfortable at the time too, when Jen made a video about a month ago, and doing that video she was really going hard against Sam. And the thing that I remember about that specifically, because I was talking to Anasha about it, was when she said, you know what, I fought all your battles for you. I made videos for you, and my channel was starting to look like a drama channel because I was constantly doing videos to defend you and to protect you. And because in every 5 minutes you were calling me and saying, did you watch this, did you watch that, you should go over there and watch that and watch this and watch that. Like she was like obsessed with YouTube and the drama. And at one point Jen said, you know what, I just deleted everything that had to do with her and drama, and I was done. And because I'm an artist, I can't have this on my channel. I can't have this drama on my channel because it looks bad for me, and and I can't have this. And she told Sam about it, and Sam gave her a hard time, saying, how dare you, or why did you do that without talking to me first? And Jen said, last time I checked, this is my channel, and I don't need to, and I don't need to run this by you, what I have on my channel. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what she did to me. That's exactly, not that she said you have to take things down, but she would call me like all the time, did you check this, did you see this, did you check that? We need to make a video, we need to do wall posts, we need to do, and there's so much more about the wall and my channel that I don't want to discuss here, because there's so much that this is enough for people to make up their minds, but there's a lot more. So if you're still not clear about her, there's plenty more to come. that I have. But the last thing I want to bring up was her going after the what is that, Dollatarium?
Dollatorium.
Yeah, that Alida. And you remember when we were watching that her video yesterday, which we had no idea was up? What was it called? PG-13 Sam and
Yeah,
Bell/Jen.
Yeah, Jen/Bells or Bell/Jen or something like that. Yeah.
Right. And I was really like, why? This is kind of like an odd thing. Those, like one, like released like the most horrific court documents about this child in a bathtub and blah, blah, blah. And the woman whose child it is, they're all in the same sentence now, on somebody's channel. That is like completely weird. To seeing these letters, to seeing the names together, it was like weird to me.
Yeah,
so
it seems like nothing just really changed, has it?
Yeah, it's like it seemed bizarre to me. Like I'm starting to feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone here.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Right.
and that's the thing that's it's unbelievably sad. But and I'm not here to cause drama, and I know you're not either. But and I've had my share of backbiting and being mean and saying mean things to people, about people that I don't even know, just to be in whatever, and I've had to apologize out my ass for that, and again, you already knew I talked shit about you, Andrea, a long time ago, like we all did. But anyway, that's long gone, whatever. But it's sad that, we've come so far, but then yet we haven't. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, we've grown and it's just like some people are just not going to get along, and Inez and her little clan, they're just going to be that, and then, and we'll be this. But I don't understand how, these going back and forth, I don't understand that. And, and again, with Sam, it's very confusing to me. And again, we and her talked when all this drama was going on with Jen. But other than that, we don't, chit chat or anything like that. Only when there was this drama going on.
Well, you know what the thing is? It's like I don't like to share private conversations or screenshots or anything like that, because that's not my thing. I always thought that is completely inappropriate to do. But I guess when you listen to Sam, yeah, you do need to do that. You do need to bring receipts. If you don't have receipts, you don't talk. So let's talk about further receipts, which I will put on this video at the end. Okay, so let's talk about when I talked to, or when I contacted the Dollatorium yesterday, and I asked her about what was going on with this, what did Sam say, and it's this video that you were talking about. I didn't even see that video. And she wrote me, Sam told me, how dare I call Jen Hitler, and by the way, I'm a piece of shit. And who am I to ever bring up the issue of spyware without receipts? The word receipts again. Well, I have receipts now. Why don't you F off? We don't want you here. Leave Andrea alone. Why? Who asked anybody here to fight for me? Why? I don't need fighting for. Why do you bring my name into this? Why? That's ridiculous. And then I basically said to her, what the F? She's playing a game here. I'm completely pissed right now. I had a huge fight with her because she went behind my back and contacted Shelby. I will blow this whole thing up. And that's what I'm doing right now. And then she said, then apparently everyone was on the Dolly Dish, which, if you don't know about the Dolly Dish, that's a private Instagram account that was created by, I don't know, somebody in the YouTube community. I don't want to say, because I'm not sure who it was. I think I know, but I'm not sure. But anyway, it's a private account, and they basically, the concept behind this channel is to basically trash people in the YouTube community, and they've gone after me too. And it's
Wow.
and Shelby's in there, and that Lee's in there, and Kelly's in there, and Pixie's in there, and Katie, and Inez. You know, the usual suspects. They're all in there. Well, whatever. So anyway, so she said, then apparently everyone was on the dolly dish with scammer plastered on my face, and I'm ugly and dressed stupid. So that's basically what they did. That's basically what they did to me. Basically, same thing, just different year. You know, like they just found another victim now,
Right.
right? And
Right.
and then and then she said, and Sam and Jen were on Jody's live. You were there, saying how effed up I am.
Huh?
Yeah, how like I remember Jen yeah, because she just said that. She just said that too, that you know, like she's effed up because she doesn't even have receipts, and she's like, you know, like basically calling her crazy.
But she's saying that you said it?
No, that Sam said
Oh.
it. Sam said it.
Oh, okay.
But I was there, and I told her
Oh.
I wasn't even watching what she was typing or what anybody was typing, because I had a conversation with Jody. That's the only reason I was there. You know,
Right.
just kind of make Jody understand where I was coming from, and if she disagreed with that, that's fine. But you know, don't say I was rude and not have evidence that I was rude. You know, if you don't have evidence, and you can bring things up according to Sam and the rules in this community, apparently. So I'm not going by this rule too. So you know what's good for them is good for me now too. And then she writes, hold on. Last thing she writes was, I defended Sam without even knowing her because it was the right thing to do, which I did too. I called out Jen about how masks are connected to imperialism, racism, because it was the right thing to do. They crucified me. I don't know, Teresa, which is you. I shared what was happening with me, period, and told everyone else, if you're worried about your phones, have your phones checked. I'm taking care of my shit. I never told anyone to follow what I'm doing. As Sam alleges, whoops, why do you, as Sam alleges, why do you think you even have the right to speak in this community? That's Sam saying that to Alita. And she says, I do have spyware, and I'll publish when they're finished if I feel like it. And I don't need Sam's effing permission for a goddamn thing. Now I'm going to bed. And that's basically how I feel. I don't need her permission to do anything here. Nothing. Because if anybody here has got a shady time having been here, it has been her. I've had an issue with one person here, and that's it. And her 2 or 3 buddies, and that's it. I never had an issue with anybody else here. I've never flip-flopped. I've never gone from side to side to side to side. Because I don't do that. I don't do that, and I take friendships very seriously. And if you screw me over, and I know that Emily apologized for doing this thing with Jen, and I mean we're going over to Shelby and calling her behind my back. But then on the same token, she asked me then to not communicate or follow Jody, like it's kind of like like a payback, like you have to do me a favor now too, kind of thing. And I'm like, what? I'm like, that's not happening. And she's like, well, you know what? I've been on your side since the beginning. Since this whole thing with Inez happened, which is, you know what? It is so. I think that's just completely rude, and completely, it's like narcissistic to say that, because you know what? Emily wasn't on my side because like for instance, like she didn't know me and she didn't know Inez, and she had to pick which side, which one she believed more, you know. Then I would say, you know what, my story, it was more believable to you. You trusted me, you trusted my story, and therefore you were on my side. No, you were on my side because of Inez, okay? Because it was Inez who also had a big issue with tiny magical creatures, and you and her fought this for years, and you told me that, you know, and that was, you know, and that's why you were on my side, and that's been that because you told me that, because I asked you at the time, I'm like, how do you know anything about them, and you, that's how I got to find out about tiny magical creatures. I never even knew who this woman was, you know. So it's not that, it's not so, you know, it's like, yeah, of course you would be on my side because you've been finding the same woman for your best friend, I guess you call her. You know, her and Marla, I think they're like kind of like equally best friends. It doesn't matter. But you know, but then to say to me right now, like I'm doing you a favor, like I did you a favor by being on your side. What? You know, like that's ridiculous. Don't you think? I need to blow my nose.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, and again, I don't know, you know, what Emily meant by any of that, you know, because it would be unfair of me to try and say I do, but that's, you know, how it kind of comes across. You know, it was a fight against Inez, you know, so, you know, they joined forces, or I guess as you might say.
Right, and it's like to me, it looks like, it seems, to me it sounds like, for instance, if I would say to Sam now, okay, I've been fighting Jen for the last 6 or 8 months for you, so therefore you now owe me.
Yeah.
You know, like how does that work then?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where's my payback now?
Right.
You know,
Right.
like, you know, like that, if that's how the game here is being played, then let's play it fairly so that everybody gets treated the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. Yeah. No, I agree.
Other
And
than that,
again, you know, to be honest, I have no idea, you know, why it's still, I'm still trying to process it in my head of what the big deal was. You know, you being on Jody's life.
you know,
I don't know. I'm lost for words because I just don't know why it's a big deal. I don't. You know, they're going behind your back talking to Shelby.
Yeah.
So why is it a big deal that you're in the open? You're
Right.
in the open on a public platform,
Right.
talking to Jody. So why is now you getting shit for it? Like it doesn't. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And it's like, it's one equally as bad as the other? No. I think what they did was 50 times worse. And let's just shove that underneath the rug. Let's just don't talk about that. It's like blindsiding. It's like, it's like, don't look over here, look over there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
let's not look what we did. We're just gonna look what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is complete bullcrap. Completely.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I have to say here for anybody new to this community, this is not a community. This is kind of almost like a cult. You know, it is. It's like, you know, it's like I saw this thing the other day that really, really, spoke to me about this community, and you know, and what you have to do to be here, and so I wrote it down because I wouldn't remember. So it basically says groups are like gangs. In a gang, you are with us or you're against us. Normally with gangs, we have to commit a crime against someone who is innocent, and that bonds you. And that's basically what's happening here. So you just go against somebody, you pick a victim, and you go against them for us, and that's kind of like an initiation situation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
basically what this is here.
Yeah.
You know,
Basically.
yeah, it's like
Mhm.
it's kind of like a gang mentality. You
Yeah.
know? and I want no part of it. I can't. It's like David said, this is not fun. This is not fun. This is not. I have not shown my dolls on here in probably 2 weeks because
Mhm.
I don't feel it's deserved here.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, unless people rise up to what's going on here and take a stand and say this is not okay, this is not what this community is about, and we will not stand for this. People like me will just go, like they have always gone. You know, like
Mhm.
all the good people that I watched like 5 years ago, they're all gone. You know, because who wants to be part of this? You know,
Right.
I mean,
Right. It gets old. It starts to become where you're getting bullied,
it
you know,
becomes
and
toxic.
it's not right.
Yeah, it's
It's not
toxic.
right.
It does not give you any joy, and it's not, you know, I have too much stuff to do, you know.
Mhm.
And you know, and the one good thing that I can say, that the one smart move that I did make is when um, Emily did ask me yesterday what my new channel name is, and she can go over there, and I told her no. I said
Mhm.
nope. I'm like, I'm not. And she's like, yeah, you can trust me. I'm like, I'm not telling anybody in this community right now.
Mhm.
I need to find, I need, this needs to all be settled first before I can trust anybody, because I don't want all these crazy people now to come over to my other channel.
Right.
You know, there's a certain people, amount of people that are in there, and those people know who they are. And other than that, just my family and my friends from the West Coast and from Europe,
Mhm.
and because I don't want them on this channel, because
Right.
this is not who we are, and this is not who I am,
Mhm.
and I want this to stop. And if it
Right.
doesn't stop, I within a week or two, this channel will stay up for all the, you know, newcomers or whatever, whoever finds me can see it and be educated on this on this hobby and this
Mhm.
community. And I like, and I totally disagree with what Jody said, that the Sunday the Sunday edition is like all about drama. No, it's not about drama. It's not. And even if it was, you don't need to, you don't need to watch. Nobody,
Right.
I'm not holding a gun to your head saying you need to watch anything. There's 50 million
Correct.
channels you can watch. If you don't like my channel, I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And if you just want to watch baby dolls being changed all day long, you just, I'm not your channel. You know, I'm not. This is not me. This has never been me. This has never been my channel. And the people that follow me know that.
Mhm.
And if you don't agree with it, then don't watch. You don't need to watch
Right.
my Sunday edition. All you, if I do a changing video, you can watch that.
Mhm. No,
Yeah.
I agree. You
You know.
know, and that's the thing. You know, that's the nice thing about YouTube and how big it is, and on all the billions of channels they have. There's many, many more you can watch. You know, I mean, you don't have to watch. If you don't like it, then don't watch it. Just like, you
Yeah.
know,
Well, like move
um,
on, move on, move on,
yeah,
move on, move on.
yeah. There's plenty to watch. There's lots of different channels. You know, that you can go and enjoy. You don't like it, you just click and move on. Just
Oh,
go
you know what
somewhere
else I
else.
wanted to say before I go is I wanted to clear something else up too. Because at one point, Emily was saying to me, um, uh, or to somebody, I don't know who, if she said it to me and I was just, to me, or if she said it to somebody and I was there, I can't remember. When she said, well, um, you gave Sharon from Born Again Reborns a hard time um, for doing political stuff on her channel, and you didn't like that, and just wanted to say something to that. The last video that she made, Sharon, we were going back and forth because, you know, she's a evangelical Trump supporter and I'm not, and we were going back and forth, and I wouldn't just let her just talk, and because this is an open channel, and I was just going to put my opinion out there, and if she disagreed, she can debate me. You know, that was really what it was. And then at the end, like about 15 minutes into it, she stopped, and then she sent me an email saying, "Look, Andrea, I know that you are a Catholic and that you are German and you are a Democrat and I'm evangelical and I'm a Trump supporter. So we will never see eye to eye. So I would like you to stop debate. I would like for you to stop debating me on my channel. So I'm like,
Well, then that's not a true debate, is
yeah,
it?
yeah, exactly.
That's just her giving an opinion, and then just you
Right.
wanting you to agree with her.
Right.
A true
Exactly.
debate is exactly that, as a debate. You throw out your facts, they throw out their facts, and then you debate back and forth. That's the enjoyment of it.
Right.
Agreement is not a debate. That is then she's not truly debating. She just wants peace in her channel, and you to agree with what she's talking about. And that's fine. That's her channel. But then that's again not a debate.
Right, exactly. So, so what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to upload this, and then tomorrow night I'm going to talk about Shelby and get that all cleared up for the community, because there's like so many questions on her about her, and and again I bring receipts. Like I need to bring receipts for everything. It's really ridiculous. So you know what? If you don't want people to, like, I don't require really receipts. I never heard of the word receipts. I never heard of that you need to bring proof here, because I thought, you know what, either you believe me or you don't. I don't care. But when you talk about receipts, that means you invade people's privacy. That means you invade a conversation that was had. You do screenshots of everything. You copy everything, and to me, that it's like it's bridge too far for me.
Right.
And
it gets to be too much.
yeah,
it does.
And to me, it starts to sound a little bit like communism. Like Big Brother watching. And
Yeah.
and I don't need that. I don't need that. It's way too much for a doll community. I mean, no less. If this was a drama community, fine. But in a doll community, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little much.
Yeah,
that's
right?
for sure.
Anyway, listen, thanks so much for being here. What time is it? Yeah, we've been on here for like an hour and a half. So
Oh my goodness.
people can stop and watch it. I don't care, but it's my truth. I need to let everybody know, like, if be careful who you share information with. Do not share it freely. Do not give out phone numbers. I will not give out phone numbers anymore. If anybody here wants a phone number from anybody, I will tell them to take a hike. And nobody gets a phone number from me about anybody anymore.
That's what I do.
Yep, it's not, this is not my private life where people are like, oh, can I have Joe's phone number? Oh, sure, no problem. And if Joe doesn't want his phone number to be released to this person, they'll just block that person. It's no big deal. But here in this community, it seems to be a really big deal about phone numbers. Like a few people have my number that I really don't talk to. And if they ever arrest me, I'll just block them. It's no big deal. But obviously, it's a big deal to some. So, what are you doing? Sounds like you're. What are you doing? Just cracking.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just there's I have a bunch of buttons in a jar, and I was just putting them back in a jar because my cat tipped them over.
Oh, you know why? Because David's phone is so loud again.
Oh, it's because he has hearing aids.
Yeah, exactly. He's got hearing aids, and he's got his phone up to like absolute power. Oh my goodness, jeez. Okay. Anyway, listen, thanks so much for being here, Teresa. And
Sure.
That was so fun. And I know that it was really late. You got home really late, and you're working again tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am.
I know. I'm heading that way too.
Oh,
In the
my
next
goodness.
couple, in a couple of weeks. So that's like another reason. It's like I'm not going to be. I want to. I'm not going to have a lot of time, and the time that I do have, I don't want to spend. Like on stuff that doesn't make me happy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
just, it's just not worth it. But I do have a lot of good friends on here. So for them, I'm not quite, I'm closing the door halfway. I'm not closing it completely. But I want certain people to stay off my channel, to unfollow me, block me if you need to. I don't want certain people on my channel anymore. It's like, once trust is broken, you can't get that back. You
That is very true. It's hard.
Yeah, it's like you only have, it's just like within a marriage, when a husband cheats, like, yeah, you can forgive, but you will always worry. You know,
It'll
every time
always
he's
be in the
like,
back of your mind.
yeah,
Yep.
and every time he comes home late, not that I know David never cheated on me, but you know,
Mhm.
thank goodness. But it happens in American families, in any family all the time. But
Sure.
you know, once you forgive, you don't forget. And
Mhm.
anytime he's late, anytime there's like, you know, like something is fishy, or you start snooping or whatever, because you just don't trust anymore.
Right.
You know, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely, that's definitely a hard life to live, and sadly there's a lot of people that, have lives like that. So, yeah, trust is it's definitely difficult. It's definitely difficult once that's been broken.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's one thing that you can't get back, and that's like
Right.
the, you know, you can always make more money, you know, but you can always make new friends, but you know, once you lose trust in somebody, you that's the friendship will never be the same, and that's why I need to move forward and get these people out of my life, because it will never be the same, and I really don't want to waste my time or theirs,
Mhm.
because I can't trust them. I
Right.
can't trust them anymore. So that's it. Um, so with that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you,
Sure.
everyone. Have a happy Wednesday. Feel free to leave a comment. Like if you liked it. Hopefully you liked it. And if you're new here, there's a subscribe button you can push, and there's also a bell that you can push, because I don't upload regularly. Usually this type of videos come up on Sundays, but this Sunday I was, as you could hear, preoccupied with all this drama. So I couldn't do it. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us, and um, have a happy Wednesday. Be kind to one another, and let your love multiply. Talk to you later. Bye.